Juventus are not exactly rebuilding, but the most successful club in Italy need to find their feet again. The Andrea Pirlo experiment has failed, and Max Allegri has returned to the dugout where he won 5 Serie A titles in a row. Allegri played with a variety of systems during his first tenure, inheriting Antonio Conte's 3-5-2 and then shifting to a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. What is clear is that this team needs a base, a deep-lying playmaker who can weigh in with defensive duties, or a defensive platform that will allow more dynamic midfielders like Rodrigo Bentancur to excel. Having worked with midfielders like Pirlo, Paul Pogba, Claudio Marchisio and Arturo Vidal, Allegri will be aware that no one in his current midfield is of that quality. Fresh from announcing himself at Euro 2020, Manuel Locatelli has a good claim to be Italy's most well-rounded midfielder after Marco Verratti. A vital part of Roberto De Zerbi's aggressive vertical style of football at Sassuolo, Locatelli can play as a 6 or an 8, spray accurate long passes or dictate a game's tempo, and also weigh in with goals and defensive acumen. He sees a huge amount of Sassuolo's possession, averaging around 85 passes per game, and he's the key cog in De Zerbi's impressive machine. Now, one of Locatelli's strengths is his versatility. His all-round game is sufficiently strong to be able to slot him into a midfield 2, like at Sassuolo, or 3, as with Italy. This versatility shows itself in his metrics, where he competes favourably with creative and defensive midfielders alike. His ability to find forwards with long passing or split the opposition lines with penetrative through balls bears some comparison with the way that Allegri used Pirlo and Pogba at Juventus, while he can also carry the ball well. Locatelli is also only 23, a fixture of the Italian squad if not yet the starting 11, and has the physical profile to mix it with the league's toughest midfielders. Juventus and Sassuolo also have had a good relationship in the market, with loans, co-ownership deals and full transfers between the two clubs suggesting that a deal would be achieved with relative ease. That might have changed due to Sassuolo's growing aspirations, but Juventus would be well served by moving aggressively for Locatelli regardless. Lyon have an embarrassment of young midfield talent, some of it imported but much homegrown by their impressive academy, and Maxence Caqueret might just be the strongest candidate to cement a place in the ranks of the elite over the coming decade. An intelligent, diminutive 6, he uses his anticipation and reading of the game to make blocks and tackles, and his pressing game is phenomenal. But Caqueret is more than a midfield disruptor. He orchestrates play from deep with incisive passing through the lines, and he has a good range of passing too, with slide rule through balls and chipped passes from deep, but always looks to progress the ball into dangerous areas. He's added more ball carrying and aggressive runs this season too, and plays in a more advanced role for the French under-21 side. This shows his ability to grow and change his role, which was required in a fiercely competitive Lyon midfield. And this versatility bodes well for a midfielder who's not yet 22. His best role could be that of a press-resistant and creative defensive midfielder, linking defence and midfield, but with the ability to push forwards too, while securing that area in front of the back 4 with positional intelligence and awareness. Now, if this sounds a little bit like Andrea Pirlo, that's because Caqueret could blossom into exactly that kind of player. And with Lyon faced with financial limitations and already well-stocked midfielders, Caqueret could be available at a reasonable price. A central midfielder from a relegated Premier League side might seem an odd choice for Juventus, but Andre Frank Zambo Anguissa would be a very interesting pick who has not looked out of place back in a European top 5 league. He would offer something different, a defensive midfielder with press resistance, someone who can shield the back line with tackles, interceptions and blocks, but also carry the ball through tight spaces and open up room for Juventus' more creative midfielders to thrive. Anguissa is by no means a poor passer, although he tends to pick conservative options to keep the ball safe. His physicality and ball retention are good though, which makes him an ideal first receiver from defence under pressure. And where he stands out is a combination of defensive work and ball carrying, which, when stationed in front of a back line, makes him a perfect shield and someone who can break a press or carry the ball into space before laying it off to a better passer, having gained significant ground. When Fulham splashed the cash, having been promoted in 2018, Anguissa was purchased having started the Europa League final for Marseille a few months earlier. And that was probably the pick of those signings, along with Alexander Mitrovic. Last season and his previous season on loan at Villarreal show that he has what it takes to thrive in a top league, and his unusual skill set could be a very useful platform on which to build the rest of Juventus' midfield.